All right, good Monday evening, Mid-Michigan. Chief Meteorologist Chris Easlick back with you just for a quick update as we go through the next couple of hours. Storms have started to pick up across Mid-Michigan, and we've had a handful of warnings that have come along with those storms. So figured I'd just hop on and give you a quick sense of how things are right now and sort of a look into the next couple of hours. Meteorologist Matthew Mondro will be in before too long, and he will have a chance to carry you through the wake-up shift. But just because it's noisy, just because we are getting some thunderstorms passing through, decided to stick around and kind of just keep a close eye on things for a few minutes, and we'll see kind of where things go before we hand it off to him as we head towards the morning hours. So good to see you, Melissa. Looks like we've got more people joining. We'll get a sense of where the warnings are right now. Let's see if we can get our watch warning auto alerts on here. The only one that's in the viewing area right now is this thunderstorm warning that is in Aranac County. And just so everybody is aware, or maybe if it helps you sleep a little bit better tonight, if the thunder's not keeping you up, but we do have a chance at primarily just wind and hail for tonight. We are not necessarily concerned about tornado development as we go through this evening. Hail and wind are far and away the bigger concerns for us tonight. As always, we will watch things as we need to, but these storms are what we typically call elevated storms, and so elevated storms, they don't have quite the good connection there at the surface, so they don't necessarily produce any spin-ups, or at least with the likelihood of storms that are more what we call surface-based. So again, hailstones are the big threat for tonight. Seems like we've got about 75 people on now. So I put in our push notification that, join us on Facebook if the thunder's keeping you up. So at least probably 75 people or so are joining us. So good to see Grayson, good to see Henry on the live chat too. Let me know what you're seeing. This is a very casual live stream for tonight. The warning for Aranac County that goes until roughly about 12:45 or so. I would imagine, since that's 35 minutes away, that we will likely see this canceled before we get to that point. Just because of the way these storms are moving, they're generally moving about 35 to 40 miles per hour. Let me just get the specifics on that one to be sure. This one is for 1-inch hail and winds that are up to about 50 miles per hour, and that is moving off to the east at 45. So this one's moving a little faster than some of the storms that we've had up to this point, but still moving at a pretty good pace. So again, I think this is going to be out over the Saginaw Bay before we get to 12:45, or at least right up to about Au Gres until that time. But not to just focus on this storm, because we have several, but if we take a quick fly around the region, we do have a warning that's just to the west of Roscommon County. That one also for the possibility of some hailstones. Let me see what the specifics are on that. My guess is 1-inch in diameter hail. That one for wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour. So that one's a little bit more robust with the wind. That warning extends what appears to be all the way through Cadillac and even just northwest of Rose Lake outside of the TV5 viewing area. Looks like they may have even canceled the extension towards Roscommon County, so that might be a good sign that that warning won't be extended into our area. Further to the south, there's not as much happening. It's pretty much around the US 10 corridor, just to the south as you get towards Clare, but the US 10 corridor around Midland and to the north, we've had a couple storms glance Huron County as well, with some lightning, some loud thunder, and also some locally heavy rain. Good to see Samantha back on. Samantha joining our second live stream of the night, and thunder is starting in Petoskey. John, good to see you on the live stream as well. Grayson, doing good. Good to see someone from Ubley on the chat. 90 people now. Seems to be moving out of Pinconning, says Lorcy. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly, Lorcy. It does seem to be winding down there. You're still kind of in the thick of it, but also towards the end of the thick of it, if you want to put it that way. Lots of lightning in your area. And if we pause this here, we can actually take a 3D slice of this storm. We'll see how tall it is. My guess is probably around 30 to 40,000 feet. Let's see how tall. Looks like it's about between the two. Yeah, somewhere around 30 to 40,000 feet is where those storms are tonight. For this time of night, that's pretty good for this time of year. 30 to 40,000 is healthy. It's not the biggest, but it is also no slouch. So here's a more wider view, and we'll sharpen that image up so you can actually see that. But again, the northern half of our area is significantly more busy right now than the southern half, so you're probably not seeing much in Saginaw, Bay City, Caro. Midlands, you might be hearing some noise here with that storm that's just to your west in Mount Pleasant. It's going to be on the west side of Midland County here before you know it. Gladwin probably pretty noisy on the northwest side of the county. Let's zoom in on that one. Right around that northwest corner. So you're right around Meredith and Skeels, just to the north of Skeels, where you've got that purple shade. Let me pull up my pointer here. There's likely some good hail coming down on the north side, so not quite in Hockaday. Hockaday, you're getting some good rain. But it's right on that edge between Roscommon and Gladwin County. We've probably got some hailstones happening there. No warning for that storm right now, but again, healthy nonetheless. Got some storms in Ogemaw County through Rose City or just to the east of there. East of West Branch, so West Branch not getting the worst of it. Christopher joins us from Mount Pleasant. Fire up chips. And go Oilers, of course. Checking up on the chat. Again, feel free to put anything in the chat. We're just kind of talking it out here. There's nothing that requires us to be wall-to-wall for the time being. As far as anything intense, there's no tornado warnings or anything like that. Yeah, Melissa, I think you're going to have an okay time getting down to where you need to go. Jason and Lori back for their second live stream of the night. Josh, the Ogemaw County Fairgrounds, solid thunder and lightning. I can believe that. Another Mount Pleasant viewer, John, good to see you. Zach from Birch Run, Panther Country, Outlet Country. Love Birch Run. Ryan Schultz, thundering and lightning in Caseville. Some good lightning in Mount Pleasant. John, I can believe it. That storm that's, let's zoom in. Let's take a look down to Mount Pleasant right now. Again, if you're just joining the stream, we've got that warning in Aranac County that goes until about 12:45. I'm guessing that's going to be done before then. But hail and winds of up to 50 miles per hour. The main hazard with that one, there's Mount Pleasant, not included for the moment, at least in the immediate vicinity, but you're still close enough to see some lightning, and you have definitely got your share within the last 30 minutes, but it's already starting to move on. So the one nice thing about these storms tonight is they are pretty progressive. They are not lingering. For as much as they're producing heavy rain, they're at least making progress. So that's a good sign. Let's check out our other friends here in the chat. Pretty loud up here, says Maryland. Had some hail. Maryland, where are you from? If you don't mind saying. Bay City might get some rain around 3 tonight, but other than that, it's pretty good over here. So Henry says quiet in Bay City, which it seems to be. You know, we still have a long night to go. This is just the beginning. We are expecting more into the overnight hours. And the threat is still going to remain primarily wind and hail through the overnight. Vakita asks, will Flint or Burton get storms? Potentially, I would say Flint and Burton, kind of based on some of the projections that we've looked at all day. Is it a lower chance than some of our northern counties? I think so. That seems to be the way things are kind of going with that, but I wouldn't rule it out completely. I'd say low chance of severe. We've had a couple warnings But more often than not, these storms have not gotten up to severe thresholds. That's kind of what a marginal risk typically is. It doesn't mean you can't have severe thunderstorm warnings. It's one of those things where, again, it's kind of on the margins. You know, you get up to severe weather criteria in some storms, others may fall just short. They're on the margin. That's kind of where marginal comes from. It's kind of a different word to classify that lowest level. I think we can do better, but that's the word that we've got. Derek, one of our loyal live streamers, kind of weird thunder and lightning in Mount P, but clear sky, can see the moon. So clearly after these storms are moving out, things are starting to clear up pretty good. Shelly from Beaverton, our weather spotter, back. Good to see you, Shelly. Heavy rain, thunder, and lightning from Beaverton. Lightning show in Melita to the southeast. Thunder also, but not rain. Zach says he grew up in Millington, so Cardinal country there. Loud thunder here in Mount Pleasant. A lot of Mount Pleasant viewers tonight. Always good to see my friends in Mount Pleasant. Marilyn from Bentley. Okay, that makes sense. You are definitely getting a show in Bentley. Jennifer, lightning in Harbor Beach. Can't hear the thunder. There was a good storm in Harbor Beach a little bit earlier on, or in the vicinity of Harbor Beach. That one moved through so quickly, though, that it was gone between the start and end of our newscast at 11. Shelley and Aranac. Aranac's kind of on the fringe of this storm that's going just to the south of Standish. Looks like, again, it's moving out over the Saginaw Bay, well ahead of that 12:45 time frame. And like I mentioned, some of you are saying, yeah, it thundered in a bit for about 10 minutes and now nothing. So they are moving, like I said, pretty quickly. And yeah, it depends, Zach. Yeah, marginal could still be an issue, but usually more often than not, a lot of storms stay sub-severe. But we do have exceptions. There have been days that are marginal that kind of get out of control as far as the warnings go, and we've had days that are slight that don't really pan out. A lot of our summer threats last year that were slight didn't end up working out, but a lot of our marginals did. So you should always treat any outlook with caution. That's the main message. But tonight, so far, outside of the hail, it seems like things are behaving themselves for the time being. Oh, John says, my poor cat is hiding in the hallway. Yeah, I feel bad for the animals. I know a lot of people said earlier tonight their dogs were getting a little bit restless. And yeah, Michigan weather is unique. Steve, lots of lightning but minimal rain just south of Crump. So we are getting a lot of people that are probably hearing thunder and seeing lightning but may not be affected by the rain. It seems like one of those nights. But yeah, this is the radar loop here. Let's give you a sense of the hour by hour while we're here. I would imagine that warning in Aranac County is probably going to disappear here pretty soon. Here's kind of a look at the rest of tonight and tomorrow. So this is a look, kind of an approximation. You know, it's not perfect, but it does a decent job showing kind of the outline of what's been passing through right now. So there might be a little break in between here, not necessarily saying it's going to last all night, but we might get a little window here where things slow down for a moment. But then we'll get probably another push as we get closer to about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So I don't think we're done. So I would get ready, especially in the northern half of the area, for some persistence tonight. Someone asked about Flint earlier. This is kind of what I mean. The data isn't quite as consistent that far south in bringing these storms. I still think you have a chance. It just may not be quite as great down there. It might not be as intense. It does have some showers around early tomorrow morning in that area. And then our focus after that will be what happens for the afternoon and the evening. Nothing but thunder in Fairgrove, says Trina. Lightning, thunder, and heavy rain in Port Austin. No problem, Samantha and Sue Ann. That's what I'm here for. That's what I get paid to do every 2 weeks. As long as that check keeps coming, I'll be here, right? Also helps that I like doing my job. That's usually good, right? John, let me check on Muskegon. See if we can get an update on that warning here. Looks like it was canceled before 12:45. So blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. So we were able to call that one correctly. So that one about 20 minutes ahead of schedule. Sometimes the warning time, it is issued with a little bit more caution. So by all means, that is not a criticism at all of the Weather Service. Love our friends in Gaylord. We had Dan from the Gaylord office on one of our live streams at 9 o'clock last week. Had a great conversation with him. But John, Muskegon looks okay. Probably have their chance of a thunderstorm a little bit later tonight, just like we are. But right now things are quiet for the time being. No warnings as of about 12:24. So we're in pretty good shape. Might, just to save my voice, might end the live stream, at least for a little bit, or just put it on a radar loop here so you can have the live radar. Maybe I can participate in the chat, but just to save my voice, it takes a lot out of you talking for so long. Matthew, what about Prescott? It's a little noisy up there, but no warnings at the time. Curtis and Shauna, Ashmore, what is the expected outlook for Grand Blanc tomorrow? I would keep an eye on things in the afternoon and evening. I think tomorrow is one of those days we kind of have to see how the morning plays out. Are we going to get some rain that arrives too soon that kind of interferes with things? But I do think the potential is there for now to be mindful of storms tomorrow in Grand Blanc. All severe forms are possible tomorrow. Hail, damaging winds are the main. But we can't rule out a tornado tomorrow. And so here's your severe weather outlook. I wouldn't be shocked if we get some updates from this map going into tomorrow morning or potentially on Tuesday afternoon. See if there's some refinement that happens here depending on how the morning goes out. But there is the threat for all forms of severe weather tomorrow. Pat, hail in the Pinconning area, very small hail. Sue Ann, not much, but a few sprinkles in Bay City. Howard, how long will it be before it gets to Alma? Let me see. Nothing in the vicinity right now. Let me get another radar loop that kind of takes out some of the noise, because what's happening is you're getting that first image, you're getting radar sites from all three areas around the TV5 viewing area, so it's getting kind of a messy image, but nothing in the vicinity of Gratiot County right now. So it's tough to say when you have a chance at another, but you'll have at least a chance overnight. Like we've seen up to this point, I don't think anything's constant tonight. There will be some breaks along the way. I think our northern counties are a little bit prone to kind of some repeated storms overnight. And yeah, all forms of severe weather are possible. Again, hail, wind, and tornado tomorrow. Tornado the lowest threat, though, I will say that. Wind and hail. Samantha says, he says that so calmly. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to guide people through it. And I would say that there'd probably be a little bit more urgency in my voice if I felt we were looking at something that were more of an outbreak. But I know that I know the word tornado kind of gets some people's anxiety going, and so just trying to be that calming influence, I suppose. John, what side of Midland County would you say Dow Diamond was on? Probably more of the eastern side, because it's right around the business loop. So I would say eastern Midland County. I do know it's west to east as far as its formation. I know it's laid out west to east. Just seeing lightning outside my door. I'm not far from the diamond. Okay, so we take a look there, John. It doesn't look like you've got a super intense storm, but I mean, it has produced lightning. It doesn't look like the worst lightning producer that we've had throughout tonight. But yeah, you've had a couple strikes. Let's see what we've got. What's going on? Melissa, I swear I hear sirens around Flushing right now. Gosh, I hope not. I hope that's not in error or something like that. That would be an unfortunate error on a night like this. Nothing really happening in Flushing. Yeah, pretty much everything's kind of locked up generally north of US 10. For now, anyway. Yeah, I appreciate that, Shelley. Thanks for all you do. I appreciate any time I hear from you. Henry, that is a good point. I forgot about that, so thanks for letting me know. The Grand Rapids radar is down. As far as I know, that is coming back online tomorrow, or at least that is the plan. But they are getting some help for that in the meantime from some surrounding radar. Certainly not ideal, but if we look on the Sky Tracker at kind of the composite radar, still looks like Muskegon's okay. Excuse me. It is after midnight, after all, and I do have 2 young children, so no wonder I'm tired. Preaching to the choir, though. Preaching to the choir. I think these are interesting to watch right here. Let's keep an eye on that cell just west of Roscommon County and just west of Clare County. Looks like we're getting a hail spike there. Anytime you see that purple, you might be getting some good hail in that region. Let me see how tall those thunderstorms are. Let's do a 3D slice of that one. Looks like we're still about 30 to 40,000 feet. But let's keep an eye on those. And we'll just kind of see if anything happens here within the next couple of minutes with any warnings or anything like that. Looks like the hail might not be far off. It's at about 3/4 of an inch. Jason and Lori, whichever one of you is on, you're good for a minute, but you've got some going through Roscommon County soon. And like I said, I think those, we'll see if any warnings pop on those here in the next couple of minutes. I don't think we're looking at too much besides hail and wind tonight, if that helps anyone sleep a little easier. Jonathan, yeah, the 2 or 3 a.m. time frame seems to be kind of a common thing in the data tonight. I was expecting, I will admit that we had some thunderstorms, and showers in the forecast for the 11 o'clock newscast. It wasn't necessarily a surprise that we saw development, but I will say the intensity of some of this is a little bit early. Like the result is not unexpected as far as like the fact that they're producing hailstones. But this was what you're talking about. This was more showing up once we got to 3 o'clock, like that 2 and 3 o'clock time frame. I don't necessarily think it means it's a bad indicator for the rest of the night. But I would say I would still think that time frame around that 2 or 3 a.m. hour is still a time where we could see more. Appreciate you, John. That's nice of you to say. Both Johns. Steve, not really, unfortunately. That's a subject for another time. I would love for it to be, but unfortunately not. Yep, Roscommon County and West Branch getting hit. West Branch out of it for a minute, but likely getting some more here soon. Yeah, tough winter up there. No warnings yet. Let me zoom back in on those storms. I'm wondering if they're, man, that's a pretty healthy area of purple there. Let me see if we've got even a special weather statement on that. Yeah, we'll see. I'm kind of surprised at that one, considering some of the other warnings that we've had tonight. I'm a little surprised that Roscommon County hasn't been included in that yet, or there's not a new warning for that, but we'll give it time. That is just my opinion, though. That is no way a criticism or anything like that for our friends at the Gaylord office. I'm just surprised at the signature that's not warning level yet. But I trust their judgment. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep our eyes on it. But what I will say is Roscommon County could get a warning here soon, potentially. Or at least we'll need to kind of keep an eye on things. Cell in eastern Midland County is about to get us in Bay County, just north of Auburn. Pouring in Aranac County. Yep, there it is. All right, we've got that warning. So my guess is they were probably formulating all the specifics that typically happens. It's not a process that is instantaneous. They're very fast with it, but it does take a moment. So there is our warning for Roscommon County. That goes until 1:15. Yeah, that's a pretty good hail core. So clearly we are on the same wavelength. But yeah, someone said pouring in Aranac County. I can believe that. Here's your motion. Looks like Alger's getting hit. South side of Aranac County, it looks like it's been pouring. Let's go back to Steve. Steve was bringing up Eastern Midland County, getting ready to cross over into Bay. Yep. Doesn't look like that one. Looks like it's right around Larkin right now, not producing as much lightning as areas that are further to the north. Let's go back to that Roscommon County storm. There's another one. Yep, so we were just talking about both of those storms. Now they've got warnings on them. Like I said, anytime you're starting to see that purple color become more intense, you usually have to start watching that for hail. So let's see what we've got. So the one in Roscommon County, that one is for hail that's an inch in diameter, 50-mile-per-hour winds, and then Clare County, inch in diameter, about 60-mile-per-hour winds. So these storms are moving off to the east. That warning is not extended into Ogemaw County at this time. We did have a couple warnings to the west of Roscommon and Clare County a little bit earlier, and those were canceled before they got into those counties. So we'll see. I'm not going to say they're guaranteed to go into Gladwin or Ogemaw County. But we'll let this play out. And no problem, Shelley. Like I've said, this is what they pay me to do. They haven't kicked me out yet. So the one for Clare County and Osceola County just to the west, that one's till 1:30. The one in Roscommon County, that one is until 1:15. So the worst of it is probably moving through Houghton Lake or just northwest of there right now. Looks like it's on the western side of the lake where the worst of it is. A good amount of lightning with that. And then the one for Clare, that is more on the northwestern side. That is through just northwest of Winterfield and Leota. This one seems like it's moving a little bit more towards Roscommon County, so I'm wondering if we'll get an extension into this area right here more so than this eastern side of Clare County. I'll be interested to see if this part of the county is still included here at the next update. This one seems like it's moving a little bit more towards southern Roscommon County. Paul, nothing south of Clare, not at the moment, or at least nothing that is standing out. It seems like we've had a few showers try within the last half hour, 45 minutes. They haven't really sustained themselves. There was a little bit that went through Isabella County earlier that's now all the way into Bay County. Let's go back to Aranac. We got some heavy rain there. Some heavy rain moving through the Thumb. At times it seems like it's kind of on the edges of Huron County for the moment. Caseville likely getting some good thunder and lightning. Sand Point. I'm guessing things are rocking in Sand Point. Just offshore of Port Hope as well. Iosco County, not terrible, but we've got some thunderstorms. And again, those are the two warning areas right there. Henry says, my trash can just blew away. Be right back. Yep, John, feels like Clare and above. For the most part, that's about right. Lorcy, slight lightning and rain starting back up in Pinconning. Looks like it's coming from the north. Nothing too significant. Yeah, it is mostly to the north. Let me turn that off. You might get clipped by what is moving through Gladwin County right now. but it'll be a close call. It almost seems like it's moving a little east-northeast, so it might go just northwest of you in Pinconning. So I'm going to step away just for a second. I'm going to check my email, see if I've gotten any reports from there. I'll be right back. All right, I had to step away. Let's see. Pigeon getting some rain and a few rumbles of thunder. Thanks for the report, Reggie. Let's see. Andy, I'm assuming you're talking about Higgins Lake. It looks like it, feeling it. I can imagine. That is a nasty thunderstorm up there. Does look like the intensity, relatively speaking, is starting to come down, though. It's still intense, don't get me wrong. But does seem like it's kind of losing what it was at its peak. That cell around Clare County, though. The hail algorithm that we use, one of the tools is saying 1.5 inch hail. The algorithm's not perfect, but it gives us kind of a baseline. 1.5 inches is no slouch. Let's zoom into the thumb. The thumb's been kind of going through a break here recently, but like I said, Sand Point, right in here, seems to be getting rocked at the moment. Caseville has got some good showers and thunderstorms too. Still a really good complex of storms running through Aranac County right now. Nothing severe, but some good rain and lightning. While we have a moment, I do want to talk about that. Tomorrow, I'm kind of surprised it's such a small area, so I'm interested to see if they expand this tomorrow. But we are in the excessive rainfall outlook. And so what the excessive rainfall outlook does is it kind of takes a look at what the risk for flash flooding is, how well or how quickly water absorbs into the ground. Does it stay on the surface for a long period of time? Does it have struggles kind of soaking in? And for right now, it only covers this area here. There's a little bit more of a risk in southern Genesee and southern Lapeer County. I don't necessarily, I'm not surprised so much at the slight. I'm a little surprised that the isolated is not extended a little bit farther north, but we'll see. Sometimes those get updated tomorrow. And then I also want you aware of Thursday. Thursday we could see some heavy rain. And we have solved our drought issue over most of the area. Remember, this was a long-term drought. I get the question all the time, well, how in the world were we in drought when we've had so much snow? We had, so much rain at times. Going into, some of the last couple of storm chances we had before winter. How on earth were we in drought? And you have to remember, some of those drought conditions were all the way from October of 2024. So it's more of a longer term thing. And once you're in drought, it is very hard to get out. So I think we need to be mindful of nuisance type flooding the next couple of days. Andy, still have some frost on the ground up there. I can believe it. I know there's still a healthy amount of snow piles the further north you go. I do know that. Yep, Daniel, love a good thunderstorm this time of year. I know some people are liking this tonight. I know some of the pets aren't. John, I think earlier said his cat was hiding in the hallway. Others have said their dogs are not a fan. But there are, I know, plenty who are enjoying just getting a good thunderstorm. So those warnings, we'll see how these kind of progress here over the next couple of minutes. They're in effect until 1:15 at Roscommon. They are in effect until 1:30 for Clare. Still over a foot of snow in Petoskey, and that's impressive. I know you still have snow up there, but man, a foot. But then again, my tired mind just remembered you had a significant winter storm a couple of weekends ago. Time is blending together. How much did you get, Samantha? What was your snow total? And John, good to hear it on the cat. Tamika meant to add, looks like we have a pretty good round coming through. Depends, Tamika, where are you at? If you're kind of in the northern half here, let me pull this up for a moment just to give you a wider view, a bigger image. Generally north of US 10. And 3 feet of snow in a day. My goodness. There is the image with me back in it. Yeah, Zach, times like these kind of get the curiosity fired up. I don't mind nights like these. We all get to kind of hang out and just appreciate the weather a little bit. I know we don't want the hailstones that cause any damage or anything like that, but I would take this over tornado coverage, that's for sure. But obviously, I wouldn't take anybody who's dealing with a pet right now or anybody who's nervous about this. That I understand that too. But I do like the live stream capabilities that we have. We can talk about this in more detail. So we're going up on 12:51. It seems like everything is still primarily a hail risk. And John, it has something to do with it. It's kind of a disturbance that's kind of riding along it. So it's getting a little enhancement there. And as that front kind of pushes to the south tomorrow, you will see the storms migrate with it. Oh, I'm sorry, Tamika. The comments are coming fast and furious. So, Au Gray. Okay. Yep, you're in the thick of it right now. Natalie, has there been any hail reports from Au Gray? I haven't seen a report, but again, like I just found out with Tamika's comments, there are, the comments come pretty quick, so if I've missed any, I wouldn't be shocked to see some hail reports. Yeah, Andy, seems like you're in the clear now, which is good. In Higgins Lake. We'll see if they keep that warning going. It does seem like the intensity is starting to come down on that warning in Roscommon County. Still some purple showing up there, so it's not completely weakening, but it's not what it was at its peak. The same thing for Clare County too. A pretty good chunk of storms here extending from across the bay, pretty much from Sandpoint up through Aranac County, but those will be pushing out here shortly. Bigger view here, let's see if we can get a sense of kind of the bigger picture here. Looks like we've got, this is probably right here. I know somebody asked earlier, let me see because it'll show, it might show a little bit better on the Sky Tracker. But somebody brought up the round that is closer to 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. That is probably this right here. There might be a little small gap in between, and then you'll get, this is that push, I think, that gets there closer to about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Yep, so let me see. We're probably due for an update here soon on those warnings. Appreciate it, Tamika. MPing is a powerful tool. And Amanda just asked about the 3 a.m. storms, so I didn't even see Amanda's comments, and I'm talking about it, so my spidey sense is good tonight. But that's what I think is going to happen with the 3 a.m. storms. I think those are the ones that are out over Lake Michigan right now. Dime-sized hail in Skidway. There's your warning summary again. Ogemaw County, you're probably going to get noisy here soon. You've been going through a bit of a break. There is a cell around West Branch that's probably rumbling, but you're going to get back into the thick of it here soon, just north of West Branch probably. Rose City. And just out of curiosity, wonder how tall that one is. Again, that's still about 30,000 feet or so. Interesting stuff. I love when we can do that. Geeking out a little bit. All right, so I think since things are pretty steady for the moment, give this just another couple of minutes, and then I'll probably let the radar guide you. Joe Charlevoix, that is a name that I have not heard since, well, I should say a name that is familiar to me since I was a kid. I used to watch Joe Charlevoix forecasts when I was vacationing camping Joe is a mainstay. That is a name. Very nice guy. Haven't met him, but I can tell. Have had friends intern under him as well. Jason, good question. What are the 3 a.m. storms going to produce? Exactly what they're producing now. Hail and rain are the main threats with the 3 a.m. round also. Probably a lot of noise as they come through. We did just get our updates for the warning in Roscommon County, so let me get a chance to look at that. They trimmed the west side of the county. They did keep the warning going, but they did not extend it into Ogama yet. They're still keeping 1 inch in diameter hail and 50-mile-per-hour winds. The Clare County storm, still 1 inch in diameter and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So nothing's really changed with those. So we've got still 38 people on with us tonight. Either the night owls or the early risers. No problem, Jason. Happy to help. Again, those are the 3 a.m. storms. A couple of you guys have asked about that. I think those are currently here. And it looks like those are kind of developing on schedule. And so we're approaching 1 o'clock. The way these are moving, I'd say, yeah, about 1 to 2 hours. 1 to 2 hours seems like those are following the expected pace. But yeah, only concerned about hail and wind tonight. I don't even think the Storm Prediction Center doesn't have us in any tornado risk either. That is not the case for tomorrow, however. I'm not saying it's a big threat for tomorrow, but we can't necessarily rule it out. I think wind and hail are kind of the bigger threats. But Diane and I will be staffed throughout the afternoon. To make sure that we're watching things closely. Yeah, just a wind and hail threat for tonight. Patricia, what about Gratiot County? You've got a chance for some thunderstorms tonight. Doesn't seem like the threat is quite as big. For severe weather, but, I'm not ready to say that you're out of the woods from hail and winds. It just seems like everything's a little more concentrated to the north. But we are getting some thunderstorms down near the southwest corner, so things could fill in. Is that thunder snow out on the Saginaw Bay? No, Jared, sometimes this time of year, I don't like it because it makes life tough for communication purposes, but sometimes the radar picks up on some of that cold air out on the bay, and it kind of throws it for a loop. And John, I do think it'll hold together tonight. I think there's enough support for that to happen. Whether the storms later tonight are severe, we'll see. I think, of course, based on how things have progressed so far, that we'll certainly have a chance for some warnings. But right now seems like we're okay, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. This radar feedback right here, it's just the bay is kind of playing tricks on it. That's why I kind of sharpened up that image a little bit, and you're not seeing it quite as much. Still the two warnings there, 115, 130 here. Appreciate all of you joining. Just checking a text with Matthew Mondro. He'll be in shortly. That's a good question, Jared. You're probably not the only one who has asked. Or not the only person who has thought of it, I should say. But yeah, it's probably just picking up on some of that cold air, and it's messing with it a little bit. Yeah, Jared, definitely not uncommon. Oh boy. So we've got, like I said, about 10 minutes in the one warning. I think it's a good sign that that has not been extended into Ogama County at this point. Still likely some hail, but wondering if they're kind of waiting to see what it does once it crosses the county line. Still frost in Hamilton included in that for Clare County. That storm kind of changing its trajectory a little bit. It looked like it was going more northeast. It's turned a little bit. That not uncommon. And you still got some of those storms coming in the thumb. Kind of extending. It's almost like you got a little, for a lack of a better term, it's not actually the case, but it's almost like you've got these storms in a frontal line, kind of crossing the entire bay. I wonder if there'd be a pretty good shelf cloud there. But here's the big picture. Still not much happening south of US 10. There's kind of round number 2. Looks like that's triggered some warnings in Wisconsin and also up towards Manistee. So our break might be short. And I do think some of this will fill in a little bit further south as the night goes on. So we will see. Yep, Jared, no tornado possible tags on this. Everything is, I kind of covered this earlier, everything is elevated right now. There's not much attachment to the surface. And when that typically happens, it's more of a hail and wind threat. There's not much support for tornadic activity if it's not tied into the ground as much. We've also got a decent cap in place the further south you go, which is kind of holding back some of the development at the surface. So that is a factor as well. All right, so since these warnings are kind of at the tail end, and it doesn't appear that the warning is going to be carried into Ogama County, and meteorologist Matthew Mondro will be in soon, I am going to wind down the live stream, and also because we don't have a tornadic threat for the moment, and I don't expect one. as we go through tonight. I will give the system a break here just in case Matthew needs it by the time he gets in. Always good to kind of have that happen, and just to make sure everything is fresh and ready to go for him. Appreciate all of you on the live stream. Of course, have a way to get alerts overnight just in case. But he should be here before you know it, and he'll have you covered through the morning. And Patricia said, sounds like a coffee kind of night. Not at this point. I'm going to go home and pass out probably. But Matthew will be in here shortly. He will be watching things throughout the rest of the night. And of course, he will have the latest on how things are shaping up for tomorrow. But thanks for everyone for joining. No problem for me doing what I have to do. That's what I'm here for. And we'll, of course, have updates for you on the second threat going into tomorrow. Like I said, Diane and I will be here staffed all through the afternoon. And luckily, tomorrow night, the threat will be over before you have to go to bed. So we're not expecting anything late like we are tonight. So have a good night, everyone, and we will see you all tomorrow.